What if Marvel's greatest love stories were never meant to have happy endings? What if some of the strongest heroes in comic book history weren't defined by the enemies they defeated, but by the people they could never truly be with? Because behind almost every legendary Marvel hero is a love story that's far more tragic than most fans ever realized.
You could have been.
Not with you around.
Spider-Man and Black Cat. If you ask someone who Spider-Man's greatest love is, they'll probably say Mary Jane. Comic readers know the answer isn't that simple. For years, Felicia Hardy, better known as Black Cat, understood Spider-Man better than almost anyone else. She lived the same dangerous double life, fought the same criminals, and never questioned why Peter disappeared in the middle of the night. On paper, they were perfect together, until Peter took off the mask. That's when the relationship began to fall apart. Felicia didn't fall in love with Peter Parker. She fell in love with Spider-Man. Peter wanted someone who could love both parts of his life. Felicia only loved the extraordinary one. It wasn't jealousy that ended their relationship. It was identity. Marvel wasn't asking whether Spider-Man could find love. It was asking a much harder question. If someone only loves the hero, do they really love the person underneath? For the next man, the problem wasn't a mask. It was destiny itself. Wolverine and Mariko Yashida. Long before Jean Grey ever became part of Wolverine's story, there was Mariko Yashida. And unlike most of Logan's relationships, this one wasn't built on chaos. It was built on peace. Mariko was the daughter of one of Japan's most powerful crime families, raised to value honor above everything else. Logan, a man who had spent most of his life surrounded by violence, found something he'd almost never experienced, a future worth fighting for. But that future never belonged to them. Mariko's family refused to accept Logan, and every attempt to build a life together was met with betrayal, crime, and impossible choices. Just when it finally looked like they might have their happy ending, Mariko was poisoned with a toxin that couldn't be cured. Knowing she was dying, she asked Logan for one final act of love. She asked him to end her suffering, and he did. Not because he wanted to, but because he loved her enough to let her go. It's still one of the most heartbreaking moments in Wolverine's entire history. But while Logan lost the woman he loved, the next couple achieved something almost impossible in Marvel Comics. They actually made it work.
Jessica Jones, PI.
Luke Cage.
Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. Superhero relationships usually end the same way. Someone dies, someone disappears, or the universe gets rebooted. Jessica Jones and Luke Cage somehow survived all three possibilities. Neither of them was looking for romance. Jessica carried years of emotional trauma, while Luke had learned the hard way that super strength couldn't solve real life. Their relationship wasn't built on fairy tale moments. It was built on honesty. Marvel eventually took their story somewhere almost no superhero comic ever dares to go: marriage. Then came their daughter, Danielle Cage. Suddenly, the biggest challenge wasn't defeating the next supervillain. It was raising a family in a world where alien invasions and world-ending events had become normal. They argued, they struggled, they even spent time apart. But unlike most comic book couples, they kept finding their way back to each other. In a universe where almost every relationship eventually falls apart, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage became one of Marvel's rare success stories. The next couple loved each other just as deeply. The difference was, they couldn't even touch.
Don't you ever get tired of listening to yourself?
Not when I'm talking about you, Cher.
Rogue and Gambit. If there is one Marvel couple that seemed doomed from the very beginning, it's Rogue and Gambit. From the moment Rogue's mutant powers manifested, the simplest human gesture became impossible. A single touch allowed her to absorb another person's memories, powers, and life force. Hold on for too long, and the other person might not survive. Then she met Remy LeBeau, a charming thief who refused to let fear decide who he loved. For years, Marvel built their relationship around one heartbreaking reality. They could fight side by side. They could risk their lives for each other. They could tell each other how they felt. But they couldn't do the one thing every couple takes for granted: touch. That made every stolen moment between them feel earned. Every brief embrace became unforgettable because readers knew exactly what it had cost. After decades of breakups, reunions, and impossible circumstances, Marvel finally gave fans the ending they'd been waiting for. Rogue and Gambit got married, not because life had suddenly become easier, but because they realized love isn't measured by perfection. It's measured by the decision to stay. But while Rogue and Gambit were separated by a mutant power, the next couple was separated by something even stranger. One of them wasn't even human.
And they lived happily ever after.
Vision and Scarlet Witch. When Vision first appeared, he wasn't introduced as a hero. He was introduced as Ultron's weapon. An android created to destroy the Avengers wasn't supposed to fall in love. Then he met Wanda Maximoff. What started as one of Marvel's most unexpected romances quickly became one of its most ambitious. Vision wasn't just trying to understand love, he was trying to understand what it meant to be human. Together, they built something almost no one believed was possible. A home, a marriage, even children. For a while, it looked like they had achieved the impossible. Then reality caught up with them. Billy and Tommy were eventually revealed to be magical creations tied to Mephisto, and when that connection was broken, Wanda lost the family she'd fought so hard to build. Their marriage never truly recovered, not because they stopped loving each other, but because the life they'd created was built on something that couldn't last. Marvel wasn't asking whether an android could love, it was asking whether love alone is enough to hold reality together. For the next man, love demanded an even greater sacrifice. Not his family, his entire world.
I love you.
Galactus, take me with him! Take me with him!
Silver Surfer and Shalla-Bal. Long before he became the Silver Surfer, he was simply Norrin Radd, a man who dreamed of spending the rest of his life with Shalla-Bal on the peaceful world of Zin-La. That future disappeared the moment Galactus arrived. With no army capable of stopping the Devourer of Worlds, Norrin made a choice that defined the rest of his existence. He offered himself. If Galactus spared his planet, Norrin would become his herald forever. Galactus accepted. In a single moment, Norrin saved billions of lives by sacrificing his own. He lost his home, his freedom, and the woman he loved. That's why Shalla-Bal was never just another love interest. She represented everything Norrin willingly left behind. Throughout the comics, Marvel reunited them more than once, but every reunion ended the same way. The Silver Surfer always belonged to the stars. Shalla-Bal belonged to the world he had saved. Sometimes the greatest act of love isn't staying together, it's sacrificing your future so someone else gets to keep theirs. But while Norrin gave up everything to save the woman he loved, the next man could never decide whether to save the woman he loved or stop her.
Wherever you run, I run with you.
Daredevil and Elektra. Matt Murdock met Elektra before either of them became legends. Back then, they were simply two students who happened to fall in love. Life had other plans. After her father's murder, Elektra disappeared. When she returned, she wasn't the woman Matt remembered. She had become one of the deadliest assassins in the Marvel Universe. From that moment on, every reunion carried the same question. Could love survive when one person believes in justice and the other believes in killing? That's what made Daredevil and Elektra so fascinating. Neither of them ever stopped caring about the other, but every time they found each other again, their choices pulled them apart. Matt could never accept the lives Elektra had taken. Elektra could never become the woman Matt wanted her to be. Marvel never treated their relationship as a simple romance. It treated it as a constant battle between redemption and identity. Sometimes love isn't destroyed because two people stop caring. Sometimes it's destroyed because neither of them can stop being who they are. But even that pales in comparison to Marvel's strangest love story, because the next man fell in love with death itself.
You want me to free their souls, my bony muffin?
Yes.
Deadpool and Lady Death. Only Marvel could write a romance like this. Wade Wilson didn't fall in love with a superhero, or a mutant, or even a human. He fell in love with Lady Death herself, one of the oldest cosmic beings in existence. Beneath all the jokes and insanity, Wade found something he had spent his entire life searching for. Someone who accepted him exactly as he was. It sounds absurd, but it became one of the most memorable chapters in Deadpool's history. Unfortunately, he wasn't the only one who loved her. Thanos saw Wade as a rival and, for a time, cursed him so he could never truly die, ensuring the one person Deadpool wanted to reach would always remain beyond his grasp. The curse eventually ended. The tragedy never did, because no matter how close Wade came, death was always just out of reach. And if Deadpool's story is tragic, the next one is terrifying, because one man tried to earn Death's love by committing the greatest massacre in Marvel history.
How may I serve you, my mistress?
Thanos and Lady Death. Most people think Thanos wanted ultimate power. He didn't. Power was never the destination. It was the gift. The person he truly wanted to impress was Lady Death. Everything he conquered, every world he destroyed, every life he took was meant for her. The ultimate expression of that obsession came during the Infinity Gauntlet. With a single snap, Thanos erased half the life in the universe. Not because resources were running out, not because balance demanded it, because he believed the greatest gift he could possibly offer Death was death itself. Imagine that for a moment. One of the largest genocides in comic book history was, in Thanos' mind, a love letter. She never loved him back. She never rewarded him. She never chose him. And that's what makes this relationship so unforgettable. Marvel's greatest love stories were never really about happy endings. They were about sacrifice, obsession, duty, loss, and sometimes loving someone so much that you'd change the entire universe, only to realize they were never going to choose you in the first place.